Good morning, CSL. Happy Sunday, family. Here at CSL, we have 7 core values, and they are love, healing, oneness, abundance, spiritual growth, service, and diversity. All are very important, but today we're going to focus on service. So, what is service? In some communities, we call it sacred service. Why sacred? There's no spot that God, love, the divine intelligence is not. Therefore, God is here. Love is here. Love is in you. And once we recognize that, it is a sacred moment. So why service? When we serve each other, we serve the greater humanity. We serve the universe. Here at CSL, remember the first time that you showed up and you found a place that you loved and you said, I'm going to be here. Well, we want to be able to spread this message to the world. If you're looking for a place, you're looking for a home, CSL Fort Lauderdale is the place to be. Yes or yes? That's right, yeah. But to get this message across, we need your help. Hey, Dr. Chris can't do it by himself, and I can't do it, and Maria can't do it by herself. We need your help. We all need to stand up to the place where we understand that this is an honor to be of service, to celebrate a place that we love. We have an immediate need. It's our AV booth, yes. And those guys back there and women work very, very hard, but we need to fulfill a need. So I'm calling forth this opportunity. If you have a passion for the camera, we all have our iPhones, we all like to take videos. If you have a passion for sound, or you want to support our fabulous music ministry, or maybe social media, this is your calling, this is your opportunity to stand up to the plate and be of service. Now you're probably saying, well, Rev, I don't know anything about an AV booth. Well, guess what? We're going to train you, and I'm going through the training as well, so I'm going to be side by side with you. And you're probably saying, well, I don't want to be in a booth every week. Well, you don't have to. We're asking for you to be of service 2 times per month, and we'll rotate you in and out. Listen, this is our opportunity to share this gift to the world. We are a global ministry through Facebook Live and soon to be YouTube. We need your help. If you're interested, please see me after the service out in the lobby, and I promise you it will change you from the inside out. Are you willing to serve? Yes or yes? Yes. All right. And today our core value is service. Peace and blessings.
So today I want to talk about you. I know you're used to hearing about me and all of my tales of woe and triumph, but today it's not going to be about me. It's going to be about you. I want to talk about you because I know something about you that I think you might have forgotten. So here it is. Listen up. The thing is, see, you're not really normal. Yeah. And maybe you've tried to be normal. I mean, maybe you have tried to fit in with the unconscious masses, but I have to tell you that's not going to work for you. You're never going to be happy with what they've got, with the small, unexamined life that most people live. And that means no matter how much love is in your life, you're going to want more love. No matter how much success you have in your life, you're still going to be driven to have more success. No matter how vital and healthy you are, whether you're 30 years old or you're 80 years old, you're still going to want to wake up tomorrow and have another go at it. You are not one of these people who settles for crumbs for a small life. Now, maybe you've tried to convince yourself that this is as good as it gets, this is what life is, and that maybe what they say is true, what they say, that love is hard to find and health isn't really your birthright. Maybe you have rationalized living with low self-esteem and have gotten comfortable hiding out and playing small, but it will not work for you because it's an act. Like those ads that gay men put in the rags asking for someone who's straight acting. What the hell's that all about? They forget that the key word is acting. It's not real, dude. It's an act. They're all sissies, so it's just an act. And you can't keep up the act for long. At some point, the flowers are coming out. And at some point, you got to get real. And that's what I want you to do today. I want you to get real with me and just admit it. Admit it. You want to have a richer, fuller life. You want a better life. Admit it. You want to be in love. And I'm not talking about love, companionship, having puppies. I'm talking about make me write bad checks, crazy love. I want you to admit it, that what you really want is to live in a whole, healthy body every single day you're alive. Yes. So give up the act and stop pretending that it's okay to accept less, because the moment you do, more becomes available to you. Listen to me, this is important. Until you say no to what you do not want, to what's not good enough for you in life anymore, what you do want and what you dream of cannot and will not show up. And that means every time you accept less than what you want, you're actually saying no to the greater good that is lying in wait for you. Now, maybe no one has told you this, but I'm going to tell you today. What you are longing for and what you are feeling is right. It is okay to want more from life. In fact, we all should want more. We have names for people who do, though. We call them greedy. We say they have a false sense of entitlement. It's very popular now to make fun of millennials and say, oh, they have a false sense of entitlement. They just want everything. They always want more. But because they always want more, we assume that they're ungrateful for what they've got. And that is not true. Do you know that you can simultaneously be grateful for all of the good that's in your life right now and still want something better? So don't cling to the good that you've got so tightly that you forget there's a greater good, and it's always just on the horizon. Don't forget that the universe is actually a twisted hierarchy. Like the spiral of the DNA molecule, it is upward and onward toward a greater good. Always, always. And don't worry too much about the people who criticize you for wanting a better life. Because, my friends, their consciousness has secured their own fate. The poor enjoy resenting the rich, but you see, that's what keeps them poor. The loveless are always jealous of those of us who are in love, and that's why they're alone and lonely. The fearful cannot understand the faithful. They think we're fools for following our dreams, but we know different. We know the laws of the universe, the laws that say what you resent in others you keep from yourself, and what you bless and love in others you draw to yourself. Like many of you, I remember an awkward childhood of not fitting in. I always felt like a prince among paupers, actually. When my parents would take me as a young boy to the big city, Wichita, Kansas, to shop for back-to-school clothes, we would go to the only two options there were, which were Sears and Penny's, and I didn't feel like that was good enough for me. I wanted better options. I'm like, really? Is this all we've got? And I remember one summer, I don't know why, God knows, but they rented this house. My parents rented this house, three of us kids, my parents living in this house in the summer that had no air conditioning. I thought I was going to die. My expectations weren't like other little boys in small Midwestern town. I wanted a bigger life. I wanted a better life, or at least a life where a house is air conditioned. All air, for God's sake, should be conditioned. And so they made fun of me. And they called me names. Because that's what conformists do to nonconformists. They try to shame you to get back in line with all of them who have accepted less. Less than what they deserve, by the way. After all, they say, who do you think you are? Why should you have more? You see, what they didn't understand is that I didn't just want more for me. I wanted it for them too. I'm not entitled to anything more than anybody else should have. We are all deserving of a much bigger and a better life. I've discovered something about you and me and all of us. Do you know that there's actually a homing device that's been placed inside you by your Creator, and it's hardwired into your brain? It's in all of us. Some of us trust it, others don't trust it. Some of us honor it, others live in fear of it. This homing device that is hardwired into your brain is actually your identity in spirit, and it is never, ever, ever going to stop calling you into a bigger life. It is never, ever, ever going to be satisfied with whatever portion you've accepted. It is the dreamer in you dreaming of a bigger life, and it's also your intuition in you knowing that that life is available to you if I can just get to it, if I can just get it. Oh, but a man's reach should exceed his grasp, or what's a heaven for? Wrote Robert Browning, the heart that longs for love is the same as the hand that reaches for the stars. Something in you is calling you out, demanding a bigger life, and it will not let you rest until you have that life. That's something that is in you. That homing device, that Creator, that identity in spirit is God, and it knows what's possible for you, and it's trying to show you the coming attractions of what's possible for your life show up in your dreams and your intuition and your mind, and that's why it keeps calling, because you will always want more from it. Because in an infinite universe that is sustained and created by an unconditional lover, a greater good is always, always an option. As a young man, this is exactly what drew me to this teaching. The promise of a better life. This is what Science of Mind is all about. It's a philosophy of positivity. It's a science of possibility. It honors not only your desire for a better life, but your right to have it. Your right to have it. Discover a Richer Life. It's our book of the month. In it, the founder of this teaching, Dr. Ernest Holmes, wrote this: we must avoid a belief in final revelations that all truth is at last discovered, or that one person or system of thought has delivered the last word. There are no finalities in science, philosophy, or religion. Don't let anyone tell you they know everything. Don't abide by any religion that tells you this is the only way to get to heaven. There's more than one way to get to heaven. There are billions of ways. There is no final truth, and any institution that says we have the final truth has nailed the nail on their coffin and started to die. Ralph Waldo Emerson, the brilliant metaphysician, talked about our relationship to God. He said, the finite alone has wrought and suffered. The infinite lies stretched in smiling repose. The infinite lies stretched in smiling repose. That's what this homing device is all about. This is why your soul keeps calling out for more, 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 more. Greater good, greater good, greater good. Because the infinite cannot shrink to accommodate your life. You have to expand to reach it, and you'll never reach it. You'll never reach it. Because the very moment that you feel like you've captured just enough good, how could life get better? How could life get bigger than this? You're going to see on the horizon, you're going to have an imagination of something bigger than this, something greater than this. I could do that. My advice is stretch and reach and expand your mind to include it. And then watch what happens. Watch what happens. You're smart people. So surely you've been sensing by now that the very thing that you are seeking is seeking you. In other words, the one that planted the homing device, the one that gave you the desire for all of this good, is the one that fulfills it. The first rule of metaphysics. Do you know what the first rule of metaphysics is? The universe isn't stupid. Yep. First rule of metaphysics, the universe isn't stupid. But you got to say it like you're from New York and you got something stuck in your mouth. Like, the universe isn't stupid, right? Because here's the thing. You're the creator of the universe. You have an infinite supply of everything that is good, and your only desire is to give it away. And why? Because it brings you immense joy. And so you create outlets and avenues and people through which to give the good to, and you place within them this desire for it. It's the perfect formula, the right equation. The giver and the receiver are one. You get it? Everything good your heart desires, absolutely everything good you want, is available to you right now. Now, there's no reluctance in the universe. God always says yes. So if you're praying, God, I'm sick, please make me healthy. Can I be healthy? Yes. God, I'm looking for love. I can't find love. Can I have love? Yes, it's time for you to have love. Yes, it's time for you to have health, wealth, all things. God always says yes. All of it is given. But you have to stop accepting less, or none of it's available to you. Sometimes it's tiring being Chris Michaels. You have to know how easy it is for me to stand up here and say this. It's very easy for me to talk about these principles. It's even easier for me to teach them. But the proof, my friends, is in the pudding, isn't it? It's one thing to be able to preach something and a whole other thing to be able to practice it. About 20 years ago, I was invited to speak at a colleague's church, a friend of mine. And I was very excited because he founded this church and he built it quick. There's like 700-800 people on a Sunday morning. And he invited me to stay at his house so that we could connect and get to know each other a little better. And I was in awe of this guy. I mean, his accomplishments. I mean, I really wanted to accomplish what he was accomplishing. I really admired him. But it didn't take me long at his house for me to realize that he was really good at preaching, but not so good at practicing. And so even though he could teach principle very clearly and inspire people, hundreds of people every week, his own personal life was a mess. The Saturday night, as we're sitting around talking, thinking about what we're going to do the Sunday morning, he drinks an entire bottle of wine. He's a raging alcoholic. His finances were in complete ruin, and so were the churches, go figure. His personal relationships were all dysfunctional. It was quite a sight to see him up close, let me tell you, and very disappointing. After speaking at his church and doing a workshop on that Sunday, I got on the plane to go back to Kansas City, and unbeknownst to me, I had taken with me on that plane some additional baggage. Was it a Louis Vuitton? No. Was it a lovely Prada? No. The baggage I took with me on that plane was my own judgment. And I had a lot of it. A lot of it. This is a colleague of mine. So I heard inside my head something like this. How can someone get up there on a Sunday morning and teach a lesson about having a greater life and removing the limitations from your life and be such a hot mess? How can he be so clear on principle and yet have zero ability to practice it in his own life? And I tried, in the 2.5-hour flight, to reconcile this in my own mind and release the judgment that I had for him, because I knew I needed to let go of that. And it didn't take me too long. 30 minutes into the flight, I start turning inward and I look at my own shortcomings. I don't always practice what I teach. I'm not perfect. Shocking, right? You're shocked. Like you. I work every day at this, and I'm doing the best I can. But you need to know, some days I have to pray the Chris Michaels prayer of protection. You know the prayer. If you don't know and you're new, this is my gift to you for the holidays. You're going to need this prayer. The prayer of protection by Dr. Chris Michaels is this: God, give me strength not to kill one of your people today. The truth is, we are all doing the very best we can with the wisdom and the love that we have in our hearts at the time. We are all struggling with the low expectations that the world has taught us to accept. We are all trying to remember our worth and hold tight to it. This is the challenge of a perfect spiritual being living in an imperfect world. We are perfect in principle, but we are not always perfect in practice. And that means sometimes when you even know the truth, sometimes it can be really hard still to practice it. But don't give up. Don't you ever give up. Be tenacious. Be the bulldog with the bone. Because if you can conceive of a better life, then that life awaits you. That is the promise of a loving universe. That which mind can conceive, we can achieve. And this is the principle that we work with in our teaching every day. So if you're sick, expect to get well. If you are broke, expect to grow rich. If you do not have love in your life, start loving yourself and everyone around you, because we know that what you love is drawn to you. Never give up. Never let go of the dream in your heart. If you've been beat down by the world, get up. Get up. It's a new day. There's a new opportunity for God to make something wonderful out of you. Look up to the heavens and say, this is my life, and I'm going to make the best of it. So ends the lesson. I believe in love. I believe love is the most powerful force in the universe. I believe that love heals all things and is the motivation for all life and all creation. I think sometimes we just get too far away from love. And that's why we take this time in our service to close our eyes to all the pain in the world and all the challenges we face and return home to love.
I breathe out, I breathe in, I am still, I go within. When I quiet my mind, in the stillness I find
Sometimes I forget how beautiful life is. Sometimes I forget that it's really all about joy and love. That is the primary reason life exists in the universe and the purpose of our lives. Sometimes I get lost doing things, accomplishing things, and making things work, and forget that love and joy is my home. So today I'm going to set down all of my burdens, every single one of them, all of them. I'm going to stop fighting the fight. I'm going to stop struggling. And I'm going to surrender to love. And let love have its way with me. In the end, it's going to anyway. So why not now? Let's take some time in our hearts to return to the center and the core of our very being, where the homing device has been placed, the heart that beats with love. Let's go there now. There is a power for good in the universe greater than you. It has sustained your life and created it just so that you might discover that power and envelop yourself in love. You are here at this time in history for a reason. You have purpose and worth and value to add to this world and this life. And all of it will come from you being yourself. More and more and more and more of you. That wonderful, beautiful creation God made you to be. And so it is.
I breathe out, I breathe in, I am still, I go within. When I quiet my mind, in the stillness I find. Spirit meets me there. Spirit meets me there.
All right, so we close with our affirmation, and yours is exactly like mine. Would you say it aloud with me, please? There is no final truth. In a universe that is infinitely expanding, something new will always be born. Let's know this together. There is a power for good in the universe that is infinitely expanding. It is fueled by love. It has created each one of us with an intent and purpose in this life to do something good, to give something to love, to experience and to express all that it is through us. Today, we find the courage to be uniquely what God has created each one of us to be, to set aside the small estimations, the low esteem, and to stand up and stand proud as one of God's creation on this planet, an inlet and an outlet for love, an inlet and an outlet for healing. This truth is established in our hearts and minds, our souls, and becomes our experience. Thank God, and so it is. Thanks for joining us again. Those of you in the room, we'll see you online next Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Blessings. Have a great week.
Thank you for watching, and thanks for supporting CSL. If you'd like to know more about us, check us out on our website or social media. Blessings.